Viewers, good evening and welcome to Prime on My Media Prime. This day, our hearts are heavy after information came to the nation that 53 persons are said to have lost their lives along the Sancho stretch of the route. And this evening, we are going to commence our discussions on it, as well as looking at the level of autonomy that our regions are going to henceforth be enjoying after the installations by the governors of all 10 regions of Cameroon of the elected regional councils, as well as the appointment day before yesterday by the President of the Republic of Secretary Generals to all 10 regional councils. So we are going to be discussing this with our panelists who already are in the house. Elvis is in the house with us. He is a member of the shadow cabinet of the PCRN movement. I know he's not going to accept that he's a member of PCRN, but he is in charge. He is in the second in command of communication for the that party. Good evening and welcome.
Thanks very much, National Deputy Communication Secretary for CRM party, not PCRM. Thank you. And for that, again, you know, I accept because it's my position and I take it wholeheartedly.
Okay.
And that's what I'm just doing my job as a communicator to bring out the rules of the kangaroo system that we have in this country ruled by hopeless, rudimentary leaders. But then the main thing here is greetings to the people of Gunoko village as usual, especially as they will be converging at the palace, of course, Saturday 30th, you know, for developmental projects and handing over of projects. So I think I want to greet all the people of Gunoko and His Royal Majesty Fund Dr. Fomaki Walters, who will equally be cheering that special event at the Gunoko Palace on Saturday. But then we must talk about issues concerning the state, and the village also constitutes part of the state. Thank you.
Equally with us in the studio is Professor Mark Anthony, Pan-Africanist par excellence. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Leo, and good evening to my fellow panelists and to the million viewers of My Media Prime, to my family precisely, and to the beautiful people of Cameroon. I believe that this particular evening is going to be very interesting as you concentrate your energy in watching what we'll be discussing this evening. I think that you should as well look for a piece of paper and a pen, which is going to be helpful when you being able to pen down some ideas. Thank you, Mr. Leo, for the opportunity.
Very, very sad evening to bear, especially for the families who lost their relations in this accident that happened out there in around Chang. Good evening also to you, Senior Barrister Ashu Emmanuel, who is in the studio with us, National President of the Reform Party. Welcome to Prime this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, our kangaroo man, and good evening, Professor Mark. Good evening, televiewers. Once more, it's a pleasure being with you. Like you said, very sad day. We know that that hill at Sancho place is very dangerous, and it was just a matter of time. It looks like, you see, that place reminds me of the old super hill. It was just a matter of time for trouble to start coming, and unfortunately, it's coming too soon.
Okay, for Elvis Tayon, I've not seen an official position or message from your party, but I'm sure the party is taken aback by what is happening, because this is coming some weeks after what we witnessed along the Bafoussam Yaoundé stretch, where many Cameroonians lost their lives.
Yes, my party has not commented officially, but I will comment.
Okay.
When we say a government is kangaroo, it is kangaroo. You would understand that that particular stretch of road, I don't know the engineers that work on that road. We've had recorded accidents. There are vehicles that have even gone down the valley on that very stretch of road. I don't know how the engineers worked on it and guaranteed that it was safe for usage. But I will suggest that than for us to keep losing lives day in, day out, it would be very good for that road to be closed and we go through Bafoussam until the time the appropriate measures are put in place, because you cannot tell me that a winding road will not be dangerous. A winding road on a slope. If we're in Switzerland, where they have this kind of landscape, they will obviously take precautions. You have extraordinary embankments, you have things that will be able to take care, and then you have what we call a visit technique that is working. Now, if you look at it critically, these vehicles that ply the highway will always tell you that they have gone through the technical tests and certified. Even when they are found wanting, they will always tell you that. Roadworthiness. Thank you. They always tell they have gone through roadworthiness and they are in good shape. Now, my worry is not even only on the accident. When we say Cameroon government is a corrupt one, it's a corrupt one. My attention had been on the fact that custom and gendarmerie officers were accompanying that vehicle. Mr. Governor of the West region of the country, help us, let us know those who were accompanying that vehicle for what purpose, because I hear they disappear into thin air. All I know is that they passed through various checkpoints. If they cannot, the security forces that are on that hill should know the gendarmes and the custom who pass by escorting that particular vehicle and to where. Because that is where we need to get the real information. Because what we are thinking, and I am thinking, is that a foul play could be smelled, could be around the corner. Because we are now concentrating on the death, but we have not heard the custom officers making a declaration that they intercepted this illegal fuel and they were taking it to this area. Nor the gendarmerie officers who were accompanying it. We are still to get that. I am expecting that within 24 hours, surely the governor of the West region will be able to give us ample security information on those who are escorting this vehicle and for what purpose, because we need to know. Because if we don't know, it means there was a shady deal that was going on, probably to collect money from somewhere, and then things happened the way they happened. It's an unfortunate incident, and I think that instead of Yaoundé regime being very quick to rush there and begin to make statements and begin to say we are taking care of the bereaved and we're taking care of yam done, yam not done, what I think is simple, that they should be thinking of how to prevent further accidents. It will be very, very important. Okay.
Your first reaction, Professor Mark, to this very, very sad incident that occurred along the Sancho chance stretch.
Leo, it is indeed very sad, considering that we have 53 lives that were lost, and over 20 something of them are in the hospitals as we are talking right now. Is something that one should not even talk with a fluent voice. I want to also say that one of the things that I am going to be regretting is the fact that the tarmac on that particular road is going to be destroyed based on the burn that came from the cars. You see, it is true that Mr. Farah used a statement that that road should be closed, but I want to say that's one of the best work of technology, let me say engineering, that was done in Cameroon, because to construct that particular road meant that the guys who did it
Chinese,
and they did it well. The only problem is we have reckless drivers who most of the times when they want to take on the road, they drink, and when they go to the road they can't drive like they are supposed to drive. On such a stretch of road, there's a particular speed you shouldn't take. It is very in fact it's a road that is let me use the word canny, because if you clown there you lost your life. But Cameroonian drivers seems not to understand this, so they get to drink at times, they take their cars and they are rushing as if they in fact want to go to heaven, and that's the case that happens when people are in speed, using speed. So we might want to also look at it from the point of, I think one of the limitations of the Cameroon government concerning that road is the size of the road. You can't be constructing roads like they are market to farm to market roads, which are very tiny. I think that when roads are supposed to be constructed, especially roads that are linking regions, those roads are supposed to be broad enough that can permit more than 2-3 cars.
Yeah, because almost everybody going to Bafoussam
is using that particular road.
That part. Those going up to Fumban, Bamenda, Chang, everybody. Yeah. So
the road is too small. That's not a road that they should. That's not the size of road that they should use. So I think in support of what my brother was saying there, the Cameroon government can be blamed in that direction because they limit the size. And when you also hear the whole idea that a custom officer and a gendarme officer was accompanying that lorry carrying the fuel, that's what makes it worst. That's corruption. And I think that if it is contraband fuel, that contraband fuel would have been seized like others have been done. So why should that one be actually not only seized, but this one was actually protected by the military? And being protected by the custom officer, by a custom officer and a gendarme officer means a lot. And that kind of thing, I'm thinking that the Cameroon government needs to investigate, identify those corrupt officials of the custom and gendarme, and bring them to book. It's very necessary.
Okay, I'm sure the official information raises the issue of brake failure on the part of the truck that was transporting fuel. But does this not also bring to the fore the issue of roadworthiness of some of our cars and the state of those that are taking to the roads, the state under which most drivers take to the road?
Thank you, Mr. Liu. Let me start by differing a bit from Prof, who said that road was one of the best piece of architectures where engineers displayed their talent. I think that is a big failure. I personally think that road is a big failure because if you look at the Super Hill, the engineers who worked on Super Hill looked at it and saw that there was no other solution. So they came up with this masterpiece of a flyover. See, that is architecture, just engineering. They came up with a flyover that is a masterpiece in Africa. And that problem has been solved. I would have expected them to use their ingenuity to put a tunnel, maybe drill a tunnel to that hole, that hill, drill a tunnel through it. That would not, I mean, we will not be talking of accidents today. Had they drilled a tunnel through that hill, it's not impossible.
A tunnel from where to where? Because Sancho is down there and Chang is up the hill.
Behind there is you see that you go up the hill and go down. You can drill a tunnel through it.
Oh, but Chang is up there.
Oh no, Chang is not. Look, after Chang is about 2 or 3 hills away. It's not. That is not the place. You see, Chang is about 2 or 3 hills away. They could drill a tunnel through that hill before falling on the next one that goes to Chang. And I mean, to avoid the accidents. So I think that they failed in their mission to come out with a good solution. I want to support my brother Kangaroo Man and say that they should close that road and build a proper one. Let them close it. We can still use the other old road, and which is safer. You see, Kodebati is not as dangerous as that place. You are talking about roadworthiness. Okay, yes. The official reason given is the reason of roadworthiness. The vehicle was not roadworthy. If it were roadworthy, why would he have brake failure? You gave me the answer. The vehicle was not roadworthy. This man must have taken. Okay, look at the system of controlling roadworthiness in this country. Once a year. Total disgrace. How can you control a vehicle in January and expect it to be sound and roadworthy for one whole year until the next year before you control it again? I mean, this is total nonsense. No person, we all know that no mechanic can repair a car today and that car will run for 3 months without getting bad. There is wear and tear. You have to replace the parts. So this government has to sit up and come up with a better system of roadworthiness control, which should ensure, you see, Reform Party proposes that. If you look at our manifesto, we propose that at the entrance of any big town, there should be a station for roadworthiness control. You don't live, as you are leaving the town, you pass through it. If your tires are defective, you change them. If your brakes are defective, you repair them before you leave.
Of Douala, it means that persons who spend.
You will not spend. You will not spend, sir. It's just a matter of size. You can put the machines there. It's a matter of size. You drive that. They can be about 10 of those trucks. It's a matter of size. You cannot spend any time there. When people know that there is that control there, they will repair their vehicles before reaching there. You see, that's the thing. So I am saying that The government has failed in its system of roadworthiness control, and they should fix it up as usual. Let them pack their things and go. We are tired of losing people on the highway. Every day people die, we cry, and they do nothing. They only sit there and they look for the easiest opportunity to start knocking their bottles of champagne.
Okay, Brian Cyprian, who is watching through the social media Facebook handle, says that see even our so-called Douala Yaoundé highway with only one way lane. Good evening to you, Brian, and to you, Mengang and Sope Anise, and to you, Yobo Dula. Good evening to you, Brian Ali, and to Tuva Robbins, and to Nancy Dairen Fortune Benito. Good evening to you, Ndiptabe Derek Mba Clinton, and to you, Anita Eno Takang, and to all of you watching us on social media. Brian is raising the concern for the size of the routes linking our major towns.
Yes, you know, what Brian is saying is very factual. You will be surprised because when I see rehabilitation work even on the Yaoundé-Douala highway, I realize that they are clowns. Yaoundé ministers should go on retirement. The regime should vacate. Because if at the 21st century we are still getting archaic kind of work where we cannot boast of 2-lane road on a major highway that is busy 24/24 and is giving hundreds of millions per day to the government, it is a wicked and satanic government. I repeat, a wicked and satanic government. Because you cannot tell me that the number of embezzlement we are recording, the government cannot curb corruption and engage in a 2-lane road, even if it's a 5-year project. Take from here to this area, from this area to Bumyebe, from Bumyebe to this area. So
yeah, but there's one under construction between Douala and Yaoundé.
No, when they say under construction, how long, Mr. Leo? Because these guys take us for fools. Now look at the issue. When I hear they tell me it is because of roadways or brakes failure, you see how Yaoundé regime escaped from their responsibilities. Mr. Leo, what was that vehicle carrying? Illicit fuel. Because normal fuel is not transported in that kind of vehicle. Normal fuel is transported in the normal tanker that we have. And so, the vehicle you see there on fire tells you that you had gallons of fuels packed in there. Is that how they transport fuel in this country? When I see Yaoundé playing their satanic game, this vehicle passed through numerous checkpoints. Why was that vehicle not impounded for transporting illegal fuel? Then the method of the transportation was first of all wrong. Government is responsible for the lives of those people, Mr. Liu. All those who are controlling on the hills of over there in Chang, and the numerous checkpoints are supposed to be apprehended straight to Kondengi as I speak now. If the government does not arrest them because this vehicle passed through them, it means that government is an accomplice to those lives. I will say this without fear or favor today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow. So that for Yaoundé to come and be playing people game, because very soon you hear ministers will go there, SGOs will go there, and they are pretending to send words of condolence from the head of state and all the like. They should not deceive us. If you carry illicit fuel from Italy now, we have had several situations like that. The vehicle at the right time collided somewhere, and even the railway sister was roasted in the vehicle going to Kumba. Another one was around Moliwe, still carrying fuel. Ask yourself, how is this illegal fuel still finding its way? And I cannot investigate to realize that some even well-uniformed officers are all equally involved in the dirty deal. That's what people have never done. Done that investigation. I have done it. That's why you see, no matter the checks, the vehicles still come out. You hear that no, c'est pour le commandant, c'est pour this, and they still sail through. It means that Yaoundé has failed to curb corruption. If you cannot take care of the lives of people on the highway, and illicit things still come in, and they are poorly stored and poorly transported until people die, Minister of Transport, you are supposed to have resigned as I speak now. Deputy of National Security is supposed to have resigned. Secretary of State Janameri is supposed to have resigned. And all those who were on the road where that vehicle passed through, because they have their programs. If you go there, you know, with the military and the police, inside the same point of the road, they have a calendar. If you walk on that calendar, you can know that These adjutant chef, officer, the police were on this way at this particular time. They are supposed to pick up as I speak, all transferred to Kondenge. If Yaoundé wants to stop corruption, so that each time they see an illicit fuel, they will not take money, but they will empower them with immediate effect and call for those in charge of environment and nature protection to take charge of that. Because look at the consequences we have now. These are vibrant Cameroonians, family heads, and these are and some who are in the hospital who are not paid, but you don't know their condition. The conditions might even be deteriorating as the days go by. Because of what? A corrupt regime that failed to do its responsibility, and when the accidents come down, they start saying it was brake failure, it was this and that. I am still saying, Governor of the West Region, please help us. If customs officer and the officer were accompanying that, as per the report, please, we need to get them. Where are they working? We need to get them remanded in custody. I repeat, if the government wants this issue to be serious, and for us to know that the government's hands are not there, I repeat, or if the vehicle left from Fimbot, or from Far North Region, or from Garabulai, all those along that checkpoint who were on duty are supposed to be bonded to Konenge now as I speak.
Now, he's raising the issue of responsibility, which I was going to ask you and Senior Barrister. We saw the accident of Avenue. What happened was that Avenue was given a 1-month ban. Some last year we saw this other agency, General, was given I'm sure 3-4 months ban, and seemingly the persons who get sanctioned for these accidents and others go untouched. Are there not some persons that are not doing their job, who are not disturbed and are not taking responsibility over these things?
Certainly, Mr. Leo, there are a lot of persons who are not taking responsibility for the various accidents that are happening on our highways. We have road safety agents who are working on the highway. Their interest is just to collect their money. They are not out there to check the state of cars. But that was supposed to be one of their duties, to check the very state of cars before they go to where they are going to, but they don't. And when we also look at the whole idea of the road itself, we have roads that are actually death traps in Cameroon. There are no roads. You have a lane of road that is is a main road. It's really strange how you can have a lane of road that is a main road. And we are busy at times sanctioning the traveling agency as if the traveling agency is really the problem. We might want to blame the driver who is driving, but at times, do we put the blame only on the driver? We also have to look at those who are practically in charge of these things. I think I want to take a position that Kangaroo Man just took here. If I am in charge of this, the very first person who is supposed to be sanctioned on issues like this is supposed to be the Minister of Transport, because as the boss of transportation in Cameroon, he's supposed to make sure that roads are well built, constructed. Not only the roads, he's supposed to make sure that we have these visit techniques are supposed to be something that is supposed to be functional weekly. When it comes to visit techniques, it's supposed to be something that they check the state of your car every week. But in Cameroon, as we know, it is a year's issue, once in a year. And when that happens, you do not expect that a car, maybe you have a car right now, it is good, but before you turn, the next day is bad. And as long as there's visit technique, you already passed through the visit technique, that's all. So we need to go back to blame the Ministry of Transport. When we blame the Ministry of Transport, we look at the routier that's on the road. What's the purpose of the routier on the road? Is it for them to collect their 1,000 from drivers, or is it for them to actually see into the state of cars? And those are some of the persons we need to be looking at. So there is need for the gendarmerie, because I believe that the routier works with the gendarmerie, is under the national gendarmerie, right? So there is need for the minister in charge of defense of that direction to be dealt with in that case, because he is the boss. He is supposed to take the responsibility over that.
Then when we look at the issue that happened, precisely of the one of today, where a custom officer was involved, they were transporting fuel. How can fuel be transported as if it's water? In gallons. That is a crime. Fuel should not be transported in gallons. That is a situation where I think the custom officers should be dealt with.
Okay.
So responsibility should go towards that direction.
Good evening to you all at the studio. There is something I noticed that has become common in most all accidents in Cameroon. Our security forces fail us every day when it comes to checking cars running on the highway. Okay, I'll start by mentioning the last one on Kumba Road. People were burning inside a car and nothing was being done to stop the fire. Meanwhile, cars had parked beside the scene but couldn't do anything. If the security forces had made sure that every car running on the highway carries a firefighting pump, some deaths would have been prevented. But then they only focus more on their 500 francs and forget their duties. Please highlight this to the high ranking. This needs to be taken very seriously. My name is Tidin. I am writing from Boya. Good evening to you. Mr. Liu, good evening. Mr. Elvis said it all. How can we be driving in 7 meters road wide and call it highway route? Even we put a 50 control points, it will not solve the problem. Let the government start thinking of how to better our road network. How can a country be without a single double-lane highway to any of its divisions, not to talk of regions? Ashu is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Ashu. This one says that Mr. Liu, Inyo should allow the kangaroo man to talk. When he takes the microphone, we experience a major incident and light goes off in Abakwa. Okay. No, it's okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all the panelists in the house. It is such a pity for the recent road accident that has been happening in Cameroon. The government should build good roads to minimize untimely deaths of loved ones. It's like Cameroon has expired. Faith is writing from Yaoundé. Mr. Liu, good evening. Gerard from Dubai. Cameroonians should know that they are living on their own with no government to care for them. From roads, schools, hospitals, water, electricity. Okay, nothing is working. Cameroon is a country. Okay, Mr. Liu, Cameroon have but corridors, not roads. Such corridors even exist in other developed countries. Good evening, Mr. Liu. 98% of vehicles or trucks in Cameroon are in very poor state. Most of these transport vehicles and trucks are over 30 years of age. Let the government reduce custom duties on importation of transport vehicles. This will encourage people to import vehicles and trucks which are very cheap in Europe. Thank you. Senior Barrister, good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all of you. Happy New Year to my teacher, Mr. Fa. Okay. Yes, Senior Barrister, this issue, a vehicle carries fuel, illicit fuel in gallons and is moving on a major highway. How do we comprehend this? And we know that there are key stakeholders in ensuring that our roads are very trouble-free. We have elements of the National Gendarmerie, we have police officers, we have the customs, we have especially the guys of the road safety who are all there. Should sanctions begin with the agencies involved or with these officials?
Thank you, Mr. Liu. What concerns me first is to know the direction from which this vehicle was moving. Apparently, it was coming from Chang down towards the other side. And we all know that the fuel we call illicit is coming from Nigeria. We would have expected, if you say it came through Manfi, that's not possible because it's a war zone. It's all sealed. The other possibility is that this fuel must have been coming like as of old, must have been coming from the Bafoussam military base, where they siphon, they steal fuel there and go add certain chemicals to it and then send down to the rest of the country. I think that one looks like a very possible answer. So maybe the fuel was coming from that their unit around Bafoussam there, where they steal fuel from the military camp and go mix it, adulterate it, and increase the quantity. So if that is the case, the fuel was moving from Chang downwards, and it was being escorted by the agents who had to make sure that the fuel reached its destination. So the first thing you have to do, let's identify these people who were escorting the fuel. The gendarmes and the customs who were exporting the fuel. They should tell us who owns that fuel. Who was the person who put them on mission? To which unit do they belong? Are those gendarmes working in Chang? Are they working in Chang, or are they working in Douala? How come a custom officer is inside there accompanying? Because we can understand that a custom officer would accompany a vehicle in two occasions. One, this is contraband material that he has found, he has caught. He is taking it to his base. Number two, he has been assigned to accompany this merchandise from the port to its destination. I don't know of a third. So this one was not coming from any port. There is no port in Chang side. It was coming from Chang, coming down this way. So we cancel the aspect of custom officer escorting merchandise from the port to the hinterland. He was coming from the hinterland down towards the port. He cannot say it was contraband good, because contraband means that he crossed the border illegally. And either Bamenda or Manfe is out of the question. It's a war zone. There is nobody who can pass there with fuel. No way. So it is Bafoussam. It's coming from Bafoussam side, and that fuel we call illicit. Sir, I beg to differ. It is not illicit fuel. It is fuel, government fuel, that is siphoned from the military base from Bafoussam. Check it out, you will see. They stole it from Bafoussam and adulterated it, and they bring it down to come and supply.
To Douala.
Bringing it down. Douala, all of these places. That they are the ones supplying. What you see here, the Kofunge, it is not from Nigeria, it's from there. So they should start by identifying all the people who are behind this illicit business, which is real corruption, broad daylight corruption. Because they just put the custom man there for appearance, to make sure that the thing passes through like an IV inside water. The police officer, the gendarme officer, the same. So if you go deeply, you see that there is a big gun behind the whole business, who is feeding himself fat. And that big gun should know that it is the end of the road. Mr. Prime Minister, if you are listening to us, please make sure that the people who are behind this business are identified and brought to book, as my kangaroo friend was suggesting. We should not allow this to continue, because every day they lose lives. Somebody was talking about fire extinguishers. Look at that fire. How many extinguishers do you think can put it out? Wonderful. The solution is not fire. I mean, look at the extent of the fire. You cannot. Even if you had a whole lorry load of fire extinguishers, you would not do anything. The solution is to identify those culprits, bring them to book, so that we don't put our population to this type of danger anymore. We don't know whose family member was inside. I can be talking here without my own person, without knowing that my own person might be there. Any family member could be concerned. Any person. We've not even seen the list yet. You see? I haven't seen it. I will look at it. I will look at it and see whether I'm not also supposed to go and carry my own cups.
Okay. No, but the conditions of work of drivers, should this not also be looked into, ensuring that agencies and other persons working for either an agency or a private individual is well taken care of? They need enough rest, they need enough remuneration, and a host of others. And are there not ministries that are supposed to ensure that these drivers that are taking the lives of people to and from our cities are well taken care of?
Well, what you are saying is a possibility that you could have that kind of scenario that occurs. And it does occur normally, but it occurs only during peak periods. December periods, you used to record that, where you have limited drivers who have to come today, and you wait while they are loading the vehicle. You have to get ready. As the vehicle is full, they call you back to take the vehicle back to that destination.
Yeah, because now, even the guy who is handling the truck, maybe if he's well taken care of by his the boss, he may not engage in what has cost the lives of 53 persons. Now,
in that scenario, I would not want to look at it that way because we don't have the evidence to show that he was tired. They could only talk about the roadworthiness of the situation of the vehicle. They could talk about that. We don't have real evidence whether he was tired or not, because he is not even alive to come and tell us the story of what transpired. That's why, because we don't have them to give us further information, neither the driver of the agency nor the driver of the truck, we now look for those who are alive. Those who are alive must give us the possibilities of their responsibility. Mr. Joe, the government of this country will not rest from my hands until I hear that those who were in charge of control at Up Nchang Hill, those who are in charge of control before you get into Nchang, those who are in charge of control around Bafusam, Carrefour Bafusam, that's the Bafusam junction on Carrefour Nchang, until I hear that all of them are in Kondenge, awaiting trial and answering charges because these vehicles pass in front of them. Mr. Liu, there is no way kangaroo government will convince me that we should just assume that probably they were tired or the drivers were tired, because the drivers are not able to give us their own side of the story. Now, you realize, Mr. Liu, that I want to give you an anecdote. If you look at these drivers of these agencies, they are almost overworked during December period. But if you talk about pay, Mr. Liu, those guys are richer than you 50 million times. A driver is on 70,000 francs, but the advantage he has, each trip that he takes on, the motor boys have money more than civil servants. Motor boys, those guys, you see them carrying bags up and down and putting on the in the car and all the like. Each time you stop, there are times even when the vehicle kicks over, it's not full. Those they carry along the line becomes part and parcel of their budget. Those guys are extremely rich. If you take, it's like we talk about mayors sometimes, that even though government was saying that mayors should go on salary and they are on salary, if you don't give a mayor salary, they still live and live well because of their illegal activities they carry. That one is a fact. So when you say a mayor is on 250,000 francs, his assistants are on 150, it changes nothing on them in their lifestyle, because they have all it takes to do fake mission allowances, fake government bonds and all the like, and live well. I know them. I work with them. They know what I'm talking about. They are listening to me. They know. I know their deals. So in this case, Mr. Liu, now that the accident has occurred, as I said, I know that the system will not do anything. Because if the other ones that died when the vehicle left Fuman to Yaoundé, and they tell the investigation is on, hear that statement, investigation has been opened, case closed. That is the same scenario this kangaroo boy in Yaoundé will tell me, for these people who have died. They will tell you, investigation has been opened, and the story will die a natural death. The simple thing is that Yaoundé can no longer govern this country. Yaoundé is already working on expiry date. One of our viewer from Yaoundé said it looks like the regime has expired. It has expired, not that it looks like. In fact, this regime expired more than 70 years ago. That's why you see us living the things we are living now. From one calamity to the other, one calamity to the other. How do you explain that fuel is transported in gallons? Of course, we had a scenario, I said again, around Moliwe, that fuel, we have illegal fuel that leaves from Egypt now. Every night. Governor of the Southwest, I am telling you, if you don't know, let me remind you.
Yeah, but some persons died now in Moliwe because of that.
Good, you know it. I say every night, Governor of the Southwest, I am telling you, if you don't know, do your checks and findings. There is fuel that leaves 80 now, every night to Douala. That is why you find the customs on the bridge.
Is it only
over there?
I've traveled. I took a vehicle from Limbe to Douala, only for me to discover later that what that vehicle carried was fuel.
And sometimes you get it smelling, and this is where the issue is, Leo. The most annoying part is that sometimes they smuggle this fuel and put in passenger vehicles. Yes. Don't know what you're saying. Yeah. I discovered several times I had to drop, and somebody said, no, along, on a press. And these are the kind of things that result to death. And the custom officers know, because when the vehicle stops, and all those on the road, they know vehicles that carry fuel, they know the vehicles.
Yeah.
When the vehicles stop, they just go straight and see them. They don't argue. So I tell you that instead of these hoodlums sitting on the road and say they are controlling security, let them go into the quarters and catch these bandits that are giving us sleepless nights in Douala and Yaoundé and all the big major towns. Because people are paid to work their money. If you go to Mr. Leo, I want to let you know that the millions that is worked every day at Mr. checkpoint. One, you have the gendarmerie checkpoint, what they call the routiers on the road. They are on both sides. Now, if you go to the weighing station, you have illegal activities going on. Then you have the police mix, Jamie and whatever on this other side of the road and the other side. On that particular stretch of road, you have security forces, 5 of them, who operate and are collecting money at the same time. I'm talking about illegal money, not the one that goes to the government coffers. Do you see why I say Yaoundé is already expired? And the fools don't even know that if they were checking things properly, I'm sorry, I have to be harsh. They would have prevented this money from entering private hands and would have gone to government coffers. No, Mr. Leo. No. This regime does not need respect. I'm sorry to tell you that.
No, you are calling the parents.
From now.
No, you are calling parents of uncles, people's uncles and parents.
Uncles, if you don't do what requires respect, Mr. Leo.
Put your point.
I will not give the respect to them.
Put your point across without.
Because if a family member of yours.
Yes.
In those accidents, you will not be talking this guy, Mr. Leo.
Yeah, but you will not.
Mr. Leo,
no.
I will not pamper Yaoundé. I will not pamper Yaoundé.
You are talking about persons.
Because these accidents, I've had 3 accidents on the way caused by fuel, Mr. Leo. They passed to the same checkpoint. Do you know that today nothing has been done?
Far Elvis Tayon.
I will be very hard on them.
Yes, you will be very hard on them. But,
and I take responsibilities on that.
Yes, you
Thank
will
you.
take. Yes.
I take responsibilities on that.
Far Elvis Tayon.
Because we still have more lives lost. If they don't sit
raise your point. But this issue of illicit fuel, you say what caused the deaths of 53 persons may not be illicit. Yeah, but when you look at the stretch between Limbe, Douala, we have a lot of fuel being transported at times in these transport vehicles.
Yeah,
putting the lives of many persons at risk. Yeah.
We are not even talking of transport vehicles like we talk of Hias or no. We are talking of a small car, which is supposed to be a personal car, which if you go behind, there are a lot of gallons of fuel.
You can imagine the heat.
There's heat, then the smell of it, then there are passengers inside. Which means if something just happens, you'll be roasted there within seconds.
As people have been roasted.
And that is the situation that is happening in this stretch of road from Itina. We are talking, let me not even go down to Itina, from Limbe to Douala. Every day, as we are talking. Every day. The question is, with all the security we have on the road, why is it that nothing is done to stop it? Because those guys on the road are being fed from it. In fact, they are literally eating through that. That is what is empowering their pockets. They are being made rich at the expense of the lives of many Cameroonians every day. And I want to understand the harshness of Mr. Farr, considering the fact that once a minister has been appointed, it is supposed to be his duty to work, to make sure that he maintains quality in the operation of the state. But we have ministers who have been appointed, who practically stay in Yaoundé, though they have delegates that are working with them. These delegates sit in their offices, and what happens? Those who are on the highway, they make money for themselves, and at times some are even sent by their bosses in offices to go and work on the road for them.
It's a whole network.
And so at the end of the day, like I want to put it there. It is a network that is starting right from up to down.
Okay.
And if care is not taken, Mr. Leo, this nation might burn up one day. Be burned one day. Not necessarily by the fuel that we are talking about, but by the kind of people who are leading us. We are talking because the nation is facing a crisis. In fact, it's facing crisis from different directions. And we are not seeing any practical solution that is coming forward to solve the problems. And now we are still talking of road issues in the 21st century. In Cameroon, we have 53 people who died this morning like nothing. Those are the persons that the news covered. What about those that were not covered by news? Because of our highway, the state of our highways. Because I want to also believe that, I want to ask a question to those who said that one of the reasons why the car had a problem was brake failure. The car got burnt. How did they know that it was brake failure? Were they involved? Were they in the car to know it was brake failure?
That's another question.
So who told them that it was brake failure? Was the driver alive to tell them that it was brake failure?
Who tested it?
But the persons,
Mr. Yoda was around 3 p.m. We can't claim that there were persons.
Yes, early morning, yeah.
the persons who survived now.
The persons who survived, were they in the bus or were they in the lorry? So those are some things that when you hear an official communique carrying statements that
and the man who survived is still under pains.
Okay, so
things that cannot be proven.
Cannot be proven.
Coming from an official of the state is wrong.
Good evening, Mr. Liam Divine from Oyuka. The road network linking metro towns in Cameroon should be improved. We are tired of losing loved ones on daily basis due to road accidents. Minister of Transport, road improvement should be your target, not embezzlement. Okay. Good evening, the panel. I really love the program, and what I can say is we have a government that does not care, who don't care about us. The government should, while knowing that they won't do nothing, identify those that are behind this illegal transportation of fuel. We can't continue to lose lives. Tofele is writing from Boya. I'm Cassian Ngam in Chang. If the fuel is illicit, how comes the vehicles pass through Babaju checkpoint before entering Chang and the mixed checkpoint just before descending the Chang hill? According to me, the uniformed men along the road should be consulted first before investigation. Okay. Good evening all. I visited Cameroon a few weeks ago. When I was in Cameroon, I happened to use public transportation from Yaoundé to Boya. A lot of these accidents are caused by drivers. How can you overthink 2 trucks in a small road? We are so quick to call the government on something we can work on ourselves. Okay, thank you. You're writing there from America. Hello, Mr. Liu. I love your program. It's so sad when we consider the number of lives lost on our roads every year. Something needs to be done. I wish to send special greetings to my fiance, Mbe Thursi, in Moliko. I'm Theophile, writing from Ikondo Titi. Wow, lover boy. Good evening to you all. What is the road safety campaign doing on the road on routier? They are not checking any documents. They are collecting but their monies. The government should send some of them to Nigeria and learn more to vehicle inspection officers how they are working not to collect money from drivers. It's Alaji Masco, writing from Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu. My condolences to the bereaved families. The government is largely to blame. For over 4 decades, this regime has failed and cannot give us basic double-lane routes linking our cities. The Minister of Transport should resign. Cliff Fofung, writing from Bamenda. Good evening. In the studio, I'm Pen in Boya. Mr. Liu, we talk day in and day out, and nothing changes in the country. Please, let's just be watching like Nijon is doing now, okay? Good evening, sir. Following live, my regards to you at the studio. Thank you very, very much. In Cameroon today, the war on the highways is killing far more than the southern Cameroons and extreme north combined. Sent by Tarawiri from Kitiwum in Kumbu. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think road signs are also supposed to be revisited because some are usually covered by grass or even totally absent, especially in places that are supposed to have them. Councillor Ngwa is writing from Yaoundé, senior barrister. Accidents need to stop because as we speak about what happened along the Bafoussam,
not long ago,
Bafoussam Yaoundé stretch. Now we are talking Chang, but recently we saw 2 accidents that took lives along the Douala Yaoundé stretcher. What should be done to stop this?
Mr. Liu, what we are discussing this evening is just the tip of the iceberg. I want us to shine our eyes and look around. Do you know of one street in Douala where fuel is not sold along the road? If you know of one street in Douala where fuel is not being sold along the highway, along the public highway, that highway, and you see police and gendarmerie vehicles coming there to collect their monies from these fuel vendors, I am telling you their faces, because we can be blaming government. The government has to be informed of what is happening. If they don't come there and they don't see what is happening, they may not know. Look, if it is that Mr. Prime Minister or Mr. who is that, if you don't know Mr. Minister, what is it again, the man for police, please, Delegate General, your boys are collecting monies from people who are selling fuel along the road every day. They have their tally, they have that toll. If you don't pay, they carry you to their place and lock you up. We are crying today that people have died on the highway because of an accident that involved a fuel vehicle. Do you know what will happen in the city where this fuel is being hawked along the street?
Yeah, but
fire were to an incident were to come out.
Making it more dangerous is the fact that they just sell along
the road.
Where are they stocked? In the quarters.
That's right. I'm saying that it is along the way they stock is not far from where they are selling. So if the fire starts there, it will not spare where they are stocking. You see. So I will say that it is a tip of the iceberg. We are really in trouble, like one of my panelists said here. This country can be burnt, and it does not end. It doesn't end in Douala. Yaoundé has so far the same fate. So how come the government is tolerating this type of dangerous activity that is being practiced under their noses? They are seeing it every day and nothing is being done. Maybe we are waiting for people to be roasted in Cameroon like it happened in Nigeria sometime, before they will start opening their eyes. And they say illicit fuel. Please, so you are talking about fuel coming from Idi now. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Fuel is entering Douala. Go to Bonaberi there, look. It comes through all the creeks.
Yeah, you pay.
Every day. Through the creeks. These guys know all those routes. Why are they not stopping it? Because it is feeding them fat. They are gaining from it. The customs are gaining. The police are gaining. Those who don't go to the creeks, wait for the fuel in town. Come with the official vehicle and pack. Collect their money. In fact, they get embarrassed when they meet me. They turn their faces when I pass. Then they go and collect their money. But I see them. I see them. No, it is bad. Please. Mr. Delegate General, sit up, ask your boys to stop funding this type of dangerous activity. I will not even call it business. It's dangerous activity because they are putting the lives of citizens in jeopardy. I won't imagine how many would die if a fire disaster were to spark off that fuel that is being sold along the highway. So, sir, we should stop blaming drivers. Somebody from America said that he came here and saw how drivers are driving. Yes. But when you look at that Yaoundé, Douala Yaoundé, is it still possible for any person to speed, to even run 160 on that road? You cannot. First of all, you have their radar that is everywhere. They will pick you. Number two, there are so many speed breaks. It's not possible. The nature of the road. I saw somebody say, Cameroon cannot boast of double carriageway. Please, sorry. Don't dream of that under this government, because the one that started in Yaoundé towards Douala, For 6 years now, they have not been able to do 100 kilometers. So it would take them 200 years to reach Manfe. So please, forget about this government. Today we are talking about the government trying to manage the small tracks, the winding sand tracks that they are put on there for us to be managing. So don't talk of double carriage. Okay. That one is out of place.
Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening. It is only in Cameroon that a road accident can be compared to a plane crash. More than 30 deaths in a single road accident is horrible. All these happenings in our country is as a result of poor governance. Gerard Furu is writing from Bonaberry. Good evening to all of you watching us from Bonaberry. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Your program is very touching, especially when it concerns human lives. My question is, Fuel leaves Limbe to Chang. How comes about that it was instead coming from Chang? Where are the so-called control checkpoints on the highway leaving Bamenda or Bafusam through Chang to Douala? What are they doing there? They should be held responsible first before any other person. Excuse me. Williams is writing from Bamenda. Greetings, Mr. Liu. I think the government needs to improve on the various road networks in and the uniform officers on the various control points along that stretch of road should be held responsible. RIP, dear comrades, and Foba Desmond is writing from Douala. Good evening, panel. Is there a single day in this God's forsaken country that we will not shed tears? Henry is writing from Bali. Good evening to you, Henry. My greetings to you and to all the panelists. My heart is heavy. This is Humphrey writing from Canada. Humphrey, it's been long. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. It's only in Cameroon that ministers do not resign. Every day in Cameroon now, we are receiving but sad news. Cameroon is not going any forward. The president and his ministers should take a leave. Okay. Good evening to all in the panel. All I can say is that God is very angry with Cameroon. Our leader seems to have sold the nation. Okay. And for is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you. And for good evening, Mr. Leo. I think all the police and gendarmes on our highways should be taken off. Why would they be on the road and all these kinds of things still happen? Takem is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you, Takem. And good evening, Mr. Liu. If you find out the owners of the fuel, some of those ministers might still be the owners. All the ministers travel to other countries and they see what interurban routes look like, but they can't do it in their own country. Meanwhile, we have everything to construct the best routes. It's so sad. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we discuss on our second topic for tonight. Welcome back. You're watching Prime on My Media Prime. We are going to be looking at the installations of the Regional Council Executive, as well as the appointment by the President of the Republic of Secretary Generals for the respective regional councils. Our focus this evening is to gauge the level of autonomy that our regions are going to henceforth enjoy from the central government, accused by many quarters of over-centralizing powers. And we also know that this decision falls squarely with the dispositions in our constitution that now considers that decentralization should be the form of government that is moving the nation forward. When you look at the installations, now we have the regional councils that have been put in place. The governors actually got them installed yesterday. Day before yesterday, we saw the president appointing secretary generals. How much power do you think our regions are henceforth going to enjoy?
The developments are the way they are, but it is no news. If anybody tells you that the regional councils that the regional council is something to take home in terms of positivity, that man needs to revisit the constitution revolving around the regional formation of the regional council and its functioning. You see why I say that people keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Yaoundé thinks that we are fools. Yaoundé thinks that by talking about the issues of regional councils, truly power has been given to the people. You cannot sell me a goat and you hold a rope. Mbano. It doesn't sound. And to tell you how funny some of these regional personnel or councillors are, they make declarations that is not within their power. I got the president of the Northwest, who took some time to say that we are, from now, we will no longer take orders from Yaoundé. Here. If I tell you that these people don't even know what they have at heart and their duties, they don't know. If they know, it means that they are still playing the ping-pong game of deceiving people as if they have what it takes. They are paper tigers. Regional councillors, all of you are paper tigers. So don't bother about those songs people are singing up and down. What is the law saying about your functioning? One, you know that you cannot hold any meeting if it has not been visited by the governor. You know that. And you tell me you're independent. You people are all clowns. Sorry to be very hard. I'll be hard on them, Mr. Leo. They know what I'm talking about. You sit and tell us that you can now function and bring about the necessary development, when that very law tells you that you are supposed to work with the various government competent services to accompany developmental projects within your area. And now you're making as if the road will be constructed by you, as if the hospitals will be your project.
Yeah, but did the law say that these roads and the like you are citing, were going to be constructed by them?
The law does not say so, Mr. Leo.
So why are you fighting
that? I'm talking with them day in day, Mr. Leo.
Okay.
Even after they were put in place, I interviewed some of them who said from now henceforth we are going to bring about a speedy development. A speedy development. When you are relying on the competent service, you cannot bring development if the man in charge of road, the man of public works, does not work with you. If the man of public health does not work with you, do you have what it takes to sit and initiate a hospital project and build it? No. They are only to accompany the various services in the realization of those projects. But the way they talk and they run their mouth, I don't know if they think that they're talking to fools. I don't even know. But we have the understanding that the fact that you have people who are appointed to present a decree around you, and the governors are lording over your activities. For the House of Chiefs, the SGOs are there in charge of everything. Worst of it, you cannot be a regional councillor and you are communicating some aspects with councillors from another region when you have not made your intention known to your governor, who has to authenticate your discussion with the other councillors of the other regions. They know what I'm talking about. They have been caged. Why are they saying so? That provision of the law tells you that the government is afraid that you could discuss with other councillors and you bring about a kind of chaos or an uproar that will not be pleasant to them. So by so doing, they forbid you from communicating with other regional councillors until you take official visa, explaining why you want to discuss. And if the governor in your region does not see it appropriate, he can discuss with his counterpart and they stop the discussion. Mr. Leo, you see this boy in Yaoundé, they think that we are fools. In real terms, the regional council regional council issue is a sham. Okay. There is nothing, I repeat, nothing. They should hear very well. There is nothing they can do in terms of bringing about meaningful change when upper houses, powerful than theirs by far, has been unable to bring about the resounding change required.
What the National Assembly and
the National Assembly is there.
But is it the role of the National
Senate
Assembly?
is there?
They are there to make laws. Are they there to...
No, Mr. Leo.
Yeah.
Mr. Leo. They are there to make laws. They have been empowered to an extent to bring about development in their areas.
By engaging...
With their micro. No, it's true. With their micro project, you understand?
Is that their role?
Their role is for law, Mr. Leo.
Is that their role?
Their role is to make laws.
Yes.
But they have now to bring about development within their area.
How? 8 millions. How much development can 8 millions cost in a constituency?
Mr. Leo, the problem is not how much. The problem is what is the impact.
Senior Barrister is not.
No, he could differ, Mr. Leo.
Senior Barrister is not okay with what you're saying.
See, Mr. Leo, let me just
is that not where the problem is? Where people are given the impression of what people should do,
Mr. Leo, can I land?
Which is way beyond their competence.
Mr. Leo, can I land?
What you are saying?
No, excuse me. Barrister can disagree. I work with them. And I see their footprint on the ground.
You have been talking for long.
Yes, I want to round up, Mr. Leo.
Okay.
This is the issue. Look at the MPs that went to PSS. That is impact. There are many who have given things. Mr. Leo, the issue is not how small the money is. The issue is what impact do you put in your area. I have MPs who have impacted people in their area, Mr. Leo. Even with a zing, even with benches and all the like. It is development.
Is that their role?
It is not, Mr. Leo, if it's not part of their role, the government will not give you that money for micro grants. If the government give you micro grant, it means that part of your duty is to impact the development you can with what is at your disposal.
That is what is.
If not, government will not give them money.
That is what is written in the functions of the MPs in Cameroon.
Mr. Leo. Anyway, let me just.
Mr. Leo, you see, we have to be very careful with these things. We are working in a system where some people say it's the party state, and that has caused a lot of problems because Parliament is a law-making body. But from what my good friend here is saying, you can see that he's talking of a situation where parliamentarians have been made to be members of the executive. They are building houses as who? As who? It is an infringement. I mean, that is a deviation from their function. They are lawmakers. They are not supposed to be given monies to go build houses, build bridges. No, sir. What is the work of the Ministry of Public Works and all those things? No, sir. Parliamentarians should stick to their work. Many of them don't even have offices in their regions. They don't have offices. They don't have a comfortable place to receive the population. They don't even look apart from taking their luxurious cars to Yaoundé and living in luxurious hotels to go and sit for their sessions. You don't see any of them in any quarter or in any village making me the people talk. You don't see them. So you see, it is a situation that we brought about. We should not be proud of that nonsense which is happening. There are many of them really take that money, those monies, and put stock inside their pocket and do nothing. They will go and buy mineral water, give to primary school. What is that? Where is the rest of the money? A system where there is no accountability. That money you're talking of, who controls how it is being used? You see, it is bribe. That is bribe given to them. Yes, sir, it's bribe. It is bribe given to them to sit quiet so that the system can be oiled. I don't think we should mention it somewhere as something good. Mr. Leo, we're talking about the powers of the regional.
How autonomous, yeah.
Yes, sir. You mentioned too that a few days ago, the president appointed the secretaries general. When you look at that law on decentralization, let me start first because my good friend was talking about. He was criticizing some of them who said they were going to bring about development. How much money do they have? What are they receiving as budget to run the place? For this year, there's no budget. 2023, they don't have a budget. So that mouth running, that mouth diarrhea that they have should end because they don't have any money officially till 2023. So they are toothless bulldogs. Socially, economically, they are toothless bulldogs. Now, let us look at them. Even when they will start receiving money, what they will be given is 15% of national budget. 15%. Okay, 15%. How are they functioning? Regional president is working with secretary general. The secretary general was just appointed by president of the republic. The secretary general is the nucleus of the regional setup. If the secretary general refuses to carry out his function, what will the president do? Can he sack him? Can he query him? He has nothing. He has no powers whatsoever against the Secretary General who is appointed by the President of the Republic. He owes allegiance to the President of the Republic and is answerable only to him. So what powers do you think the regional president has? The Secretary General is put there to serve as the leverage, the brakes, the gear lever. He tells him what to do and what not to do. So please, they should stop fooling people. The Constitution says the structures of the country are the regions and the councils. But we are all seeing that these CPDM people, they don't want to let go power. They are putting these things in place not only to satisfy the constitutional provisions, but to fool those people outside there who are giving monies. Don't know countries that are sending monies. Oh, we have put the institution in place. Sorry, you fool nobody. We all know that those things are just a window dressing. Because the regional president has his rival, who is the governor. His rival and his boss, the governor. The mayor has his rival, who is the sous-prefet.
Who's the prefet?
No, sous-prefet. Sous-prefet, not prefet. Sous-prefet, the mayor, sous-prefet. Prefet is for the whole division. The subdivision is the, you see, council area consent subdivision. It is the sous-prefet.
Yeah, but the senior divisional officer
is overseeing.
Yes,
he oversees so many council areas. You see? And then you come and see, they have studied the thing carefully and make sure that these councillors, mayors, and regional people cannot cause any problem whatsoever to anybody. The man controlling them is from a different ministry.
Terrible.
Territorial administration. Like you were saying, when they want to hold their meetings, who authorizes them? This is total tomfoolery.
No.
Total tomfoolery.
The laws are clear. The text that will be guiding their duties are also very, very clear. But when the news came out that the governors were going to install them, many persons raised lots of doubts. What is this all about? The governor
is a representative of the state.
The head of state. Why is it problematic that he is the one installing our regional president?
Leo, it is.
Did they expect the minister of decentralization to move down to install them?
It is problematic in the first place for an appointed official to install an elected official.
But they are working under a ministry.
You see, that's the issue with Cameroon, that we play around with laws and then we disguise them to fit our caprices. In no occasion should the people's mandate be given over to an appointed individual. But if it happens like that, that is total manipulation.
Okay.
And it is but normal that the people should raise eyebrows that, but why should a governor whom has been appointed, who is under a minister of territorial administration, should be the one to install? It would have been preferable for a parliamentarian or even a minister to do that, not the governor. That is to tell you how that particular body is underlooked in the eyes of this government, which implies that in what they have set up, there is practically nothing that they have handed over. You know, Mr. Leon, I looked at that law, section 323, where the secretary general is supposed to be appointed by the president. And I looked at what he's supposed to do, and I came to realize that he is considered the closest aide of the president of the region. I said, Jesus Christ. It means even those who were appointed are not the closest aide of this person. And then look at it. When you go through the decentralization law, you come to realize that there are many central government officials that are working over the region. Yep. That's an official issue. And that makes it then clear that we do not have any decentralization.
Yeah, but Cameroon is functioning under a unitary decentralized, it's a unitary
Mr. Leo,
decentralized state.
it is
So,
unitary decentralized,
Yes.
but look at it. We do not have decentralized, we have deconcentration.
Bam.
Not decentralized, because that what we see now on the ground has nothing to do with decentralization. It is deconcentration. They don't want that the people should say we are not respecting the law, the constitution of the nation. And so they have deconcentrated their powers, but they have held it not with strings, with very hard ropes. In a way where these individuals can do nothing except they are vetoed to do it.
what is clipping their wings?
Mr.
You
Leo,
have been given powers, and what will stop you from engaging? Yeah.
look at it. We know that they have governor who is not just their collaborator,
Yeah.
but he is their boss. You see, you have a secretary general appointed by the president who does not respond and is not responsible to that particular body. He's responsible to the presidency of the nation. And so, indirectly, if you want to look at it, he is even the boss of the president of the region.
Yeah.
He is the administrator. And he works as a close aide, implying that this guy has more authority than the president of the region.
Yeah.
Who's that?
The secretary general.
Yeah.
Yes, but we are talking
But
about...
is it supposed to be like that? No. That is to show you that there is no power handed over to the people we call regional president or regional council or whatsoever regional assembly that they are calling. It is a useless body. Why I make that statement?
Why are you quick to judge?
Mr. Leo,
Why not give them the benefit of
I
doubt?
gave benefit of doubt to senators in this country when they were elected. This is their second term in office. We are not hearing about them. So you don't expect me to give another benefit of doubt to a body that is completely held by Yaoundé. And I read the statement on your newspaper where the president of the Northwest said, from now we'll no more take orders from Yaoundé.
Terrible.
Then I looked at the laws and I saw the financial controller from the Ministry of Finance controlling him. I saw the president, the governor controlling him. I saw the DO walking along to pull them down. And then I asked the question, whoosh, Yaoundé, are you not listening? You are not nothing. You see, we have two secretary generals in every region. You have secretary general who works with the governor. And then you have a secretary general who works with the council. Question.
Okay.
Why this duplicity of functions?
Okay. Hello, Mr. Liu. Help me extend my heartfelt condolences to us all mourning our fellow compatriots. I think this accident would have been prevented, or the number of deaths would have been reduced if even one of the numerous control posts on the way was just and sincere in doing the job. That 53 deaths and 29 seriously wounded, giving a number of 82 persons, meaning the bus would have been stopped for overloading. This truck would never have met the car in that place. Secondly, the truck would have been stopped for carrying illicit fuel. So let all those on the control post be brought to book. The drivers are guilty. Let their accomplices and the control agents not go free for taking money from the drivers and permitting them to cause us cry. Luam Ebel, Kum, writing from from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. We down ground zero. Appreciate all the panelists. I wish to ask, why is exactly the special status given to us in the Northwest and Southwest? Mr. Divine is writing from Bamenda. For my participation, I think you people should wait for implementation to rise up. What should not have working as expected. Okay, one should not assume in advance that something surely will fail before waiting for it to run. Financial controller is there for control point not to judge the opportunity. Circular of 2021 execution budget. Thank you very much for that contribution. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Is relaying this G watching from Bamenda. Mr. Liu, it is really saddened that the government is blind to the point where they cannot even have the people their control as a focal point of their duty. Rather, they celebrate their sufferings. It is a sign that the government, good evening to you. This one reads, evening, all the accidents happening in Cameroon is not strange. There are no roads, corrupt control channels, overspeeding, fake driving license issued to drivers without undergoing the normal procedure. Fool is writing from Belgium. Greetings, Mr. Liu. It's indeed a very sad situation, and I hope proper measures will be taken to bring all those involved in this tragic incident to be punished accordingly. Barrister Elvis, watching from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Barrister. Good evening to you in the studio. In order to stop corruption in Cameroon is to start by making a reform on the payment, which increase salary. That way workers will put in their best in their jobs. Renee Tom, writing from Bonaberry. Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening. I'm Nelson from Scotland. One driver should not be allowed to drive from Bamenda to Douala or Yaoundé. An accident should be made crime against humanity. This will force the government to fix their routes. Good evening to you, Mr. Leo. Our country is finished because of greed, so we need a new government. Mr. Tebit, writing from Bamenda. Salute to everyone in the studio. The kangaroo man is very serious to see the end of this accident. I will let him know that many people have taken things more serious than him, but end up like Nejon. Asanes is writing from Douala. Sir, I really love the way you relate with your panelists. May God bless you, sir. My name is Tildine. I'm writing from Boya. Good evening to you, and thank you. This one says the attack should begin with the drivers. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I think this government is not getting good advice since 1960, with a length of roads of 3 meters length. Till today, no addition on the population is going up every day. Chi. This is Oscar writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Leo. This is my favorite TV program, especially when my favorite panelists are on board. We will keep on talking until change comes. We won't stop. Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening to all. The road network in Cameroon is really bad. Where are all the control agents in the road? They need to be jailed. Boret is writing from Gaundere. Now, why expect so much from these new guys who were just elected and installed? Should we not give them 1-2 years to be able to evaluate and know whether this path that has been taken by government is the best for the population?
Mr. Leo, you know that when it comes to political analysis, the fact that it's a social science tells you that you don't do guesswork.
Okay.
There are principles you follow. When some of us said the national dialogue was a sham, some said, no, give them a chance, give them a chance, give them a chance. Where is it today? Because you judge, the law is there on socialization and the functioning of the regional councils. We are mentioning it here, left to right, left to right, left to right. From that law, there's no way they can walk out of that parameter, Mr. Liu. Unless our viewers want us to believe that they will dump the law and then go and do something different out of the law. It's impossible. When you look at the law that tells you, kangaroo man, this area is supposed to work, barrister, this area is supposed to work, you can judge from it in an analytical manner to know whether the law will permit the kangaroo man to deliver or not. If the law holds the kangaroo man not to deliver, there's no margin the kangaroo man can deliver. That's why I say that those who say that we should give them a chance, the people don't love this country. Mr. Leo, this is not a country for experimental grounds. How can you tell us, let us give them a chance? Professor gave a chance to the senators. Where are they today? Some of us gave to parliamentarians. Where are they today? And then some people even said we should, for the city mayors or the city councils, that we have urban councils transformed to city councils. Some said no, let's not be quick to judge, let's give them a chance. Where are they today?
Are you saying the city mayors are not delivering?
Mr. Leo, the city mayors are still doing the same thing that the urban councils were doing. What are they doing? That is extraordinary. There's nothing I'm seeing that which is extraordinary. So at the end of it, when another person sits and tells us that no, give them a chance again. So we will give chance and people keep dying, the country keep going down the drain, we keep giving chances. This is not a country of experiment. Once we look at what the government puts in place of law, like laws, and we realize that it cannot work, we say it cannot work. That's the work of our analyst. If a political analyst looks at the law surrounding your functioning, and then a lawyer who is here tells you that, looks at the law and tells you it cannot work. This is an expert in legal matters. I don't think that the person will come now to work out of that ambit of the law. Else he'll be doing something different and he'll be calling for trouble to himself. So at the end of it, regional councillors, there is nothing you people can do out of the noise making people are making there. I would suggest that they even stay put, stay quiet, and just be eating their gari and allow us the way we are. Because when a president of a regional council tells you that we no longer take orders from Yaoundé, it means he's ignorant. This is an ignorance that he is even supposed to resign with immediate effect, as I speak. To say you don't take orders from Yaoundé, and Yaoundé is the one giving you the budget. Yaoundé is the one appointing your Secretary General. Yaoundé is the one instructing your governor to tell you what to do. You cannot hold meetings without getting, without being validated by the very governors and all the like. And you say you don't take orders from Yaoundé. When these people are working with strict instruction from Yaoundé, you could imagine how people can, because of, I don't know whether is it greed, they come on air and make statements that they themselves cannot retrieve. At the end of it, regional councillors, just stay you where you are. Wait for 2023. They bring your money, you build your houses, say your children abroad, it will do a lot of good for you and your family. But to come and deceiving the population, telling lies, broad daylight, that you will do this, you will do that, when you cannot do it. I don't think it's a good signal for the democracy in this country. That's why I said that, Mr. Leo. We need to redo Cameroon. I have told people, those who are dreaming for 2025, you are dreaming at your own risk. These kind of things we see in the name of regional councils, with their wings completely clicked, cannot deliver goods and make some achievements following what the call 2025.
Okay.
It cannot go.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Keep it up. It's Nash writing from Mr. J. Good evening, Liu. Greetings to you people in the studio. I love the topic. Itwe Henry writing from Kumba. Hello, Mr. Liu. The able panelist, decentralization is a means of bringing administration closer to the people by transferring some powers of the state to autonomous entities, while the concentration is delegating some powers of the central administration to some authorities in a non-autonomous entity. With the way things are, Cameroon should stick to their centralized system and put power control system and stop deceiving the people that there is any out of decentralization in this country. Pius is writing from Douala. Good evening to you, Pius. Mr. Liu, when you are elected, you are given powers, but when you are appointed, you are given orders. Henry is writing from Bali. Good evening to you, Henry. Apostle, no, I'm calling you Apostle. You are a man of God. That is why.
Yes. No. Left for me and went to you and came back to me.
Yeah, no, I should come here, not it.
No, to me before it comes to you.
Okay, Prof.
Yes.
Now, do you have the impression, because these regional councils, mayors are directly under the Ministry of Decentralization, do you have the impression that they are overshadowed? They're sidelined in this whole business? We see more of territorial administration and not, yes.
You are asking a question that I asked before. It seems as if there is no Ministry of Decentralization in Cameroon, because every time you want to hear, you hear of the Minister of Territorial Administration. He is like he is the boss of the Minister of Decentralization. So the question is,
if first of all we have a problem with the functioning of the central government, what do you think is going to happen with the so-called decentralized regions? Because there's going to be total problem. Okay, let's look at it. The president of the region is under the Ministry of Territorial Administration, or Ministry of Decentralization, but his immediate collaborator and, let me use the word boss, who is the governor. Supervisor, his boss now, is the Ministry of Territorial Administration. Is there not a problem there? There's already a problem there. Now, I don't know where we should put the Secretary General. Should he be among the ministers also, because he's appointed by the president? So,
It's a good thing.
So there seems to be a lot of confusion.
Yeah,
it's a cacophony.
Yeah, but it goes same for the councils where there is an elected mayor and an appointed secretary general.
That is the same issue we are talking about from top to down when it comes to regions. Everything that has been put, it's just like I made mention earlier, it is a deconcentration of power from this Ministry of Territorial Administration. It is nothing like decentralization. It's a deconcentration of activities, not even power. Because when it is decentralization, power is given to the regional president. But from what we are seeing, he has no power. He has actually been given the opportunity to also sit around the round table and feed fat. Not like he has been opportune to serve the people who went boldly. If like the Bamenda people said, they did not elect mayors, it means they did not also elect regional presidents and councillors. So that one already is proof enough that whatsoever we are practicing in Cameroon, we need to go back. When we visit the constitution of this country, it tells us it is a unitary, decentralized nation. But when we come to practical activities, we see a unitary, centralized, deconcentrated nation of power. So you start asking questions. Where are we heading to? We are doing the same thing and expecting different results. That is near to what we call madness. That's the right definition for madness, where you do one and the same thing, but you expect another result. So I think that the Cameroon government needs to stop deceiving Cameroonians and be practical. Somebody will say we should give a chance. Whose chance are you giving to a government? The constitution of this nation was amended in 1986, in 1996, and given the present structure we have. And from 1996, this is 24 to going to 25 years. It is at the 24th year that what was supposed to have been done is being done. And then you expect that we should fold our arms and say, let's give a chance. That is a language that is used in Cameroon continuously and allowing Cameroonians to go sleeping. And things are getting worse every day. As we are talking, a lot of Cameroonians are already groaning from inside. Mr. Leo, I will repeat something I said on a particular platform here. When you see people agitating, that agitation is just a fruit or an output that is coming from somewhere. The real problem is that there is an imbalance in the people. That came as a result of the mismanagement of the government over years. And so when you see some people start agitating now, it is because the thing is climbing. And let me tell you, when that thing start happening, it is like magma. It's like volcano. It keeps bubbling from within. It bubbles from within. When you start seeing little agitation, it means there's a vibration on the mountain. When there will be a total eruption, there will be nobody to blame.
Total eruption.
Eruption. Okay. That will, in fact, that's why I said this nation, if care is not taken, it will be burned down.
Okay.
So people should be very careful.
We pray.
It does not happen.
Yes,
but people should be careful when they come to Cameroonians. They should tell Cameroonians the truth, and they should work to see that Cameroon becomes a developed nation.
They say there is power in the
language.
Yes. So the thing,
Mr. Leo, be very careful with my words. I said if care is not taken, I did not say that is what is going to happen. If care is not taken,
life and death is in the
power of the tongue.
So
if care, Mr. Leo, don't change my words. If care is not taken, which implies we are speaking to individuals who have the authority to change the situation.
So if care is taken, Cameroon
will remain a blessed nation. So if care is not taken, we will be going to a wrong direction, and this nation will enter into
that will
chaos.
only be blessed when those who are heading the kangaroo system have gone on transfer. Thank you.
And President Elvis takes over.
I don't need to know who is taking over. My point is that there should be a change if this country needs to go forward.
Senior barrister, now, are we not in the months or years ahead going to see a conflictual situation where, you know, we are going to have regional presidents that we call him Mr. President of the region, President of the region, President of the region, and then we have the governor who will also be the boss of the region? Are we not going to see some conflicting situation? And then the relationship between these regional presidents with the appointed secretary generals, like what we have observed between mayors and the secretary generals?
Mr. Leo, when somebody tells you that he can ride a bicycle to America across the Atlantic Ocean, do you need to wait until you pick his corpse, his drowned corpse in the Atlantic Ocean to know that he was giving a mission impossible? What these people have been given is a mission impossible. Now, Prof here keeps hammering that the Constitution says Cameroon is a unitary, decentralized state. I will go further. That same Constitution says the structures of the state are the councils and the regions. Excuse me, sir. If any person, correct me if I'm wrong, if any of you have seen the word governor inside that Constitution, please just raise your hand.
I do not see.
If you have seen minister inside that Constitution, raise your hand. What is happening is that the Constitution has provided that the structures of this country should be the region and the councils. The rightful owners of the legal structures of this country have been put in place. And the Alibabas and the 40 thieves who have been using their functions don't want to let go. Because there is no way inside that Constitution that you can find the justification of the existence of this centralized government that is in place. It does not exist in the Constitution. I asked them time over and over, CPDM, show me the legal basis of this your government you are put in place. It is not in the Constitution. So what we have here is these people who know that their structures are illegal, doing everything possible to frustrate the legally authorized people from functioning. We have been talking here about governors and SDOs. Please, there is worse ahead. All the ministries have their regional and decentralized services in place. All the ministries, they have their regional services, divisional services, district services. They are all there. Nothing has burst. Now you are telling me that the regional governor, regional president is coming to perform his duties in the backdrop of these people who are there. There is a decree that says that the governor is the personal representative of the head of state.
Yes.
I don't know how the personal representative of the head of state will be installing somebody whose position has been defined in the Constitution. They say, look, that is where the real problem starts. The regional president gets his foundation, even the mayor gets his foundation in the Constitution.
Yeah, but the president also gets his
excuse me, Mr. Leo. I say regional president and council and mayor get their foundation from the Constitution. Mr. Governor, Mr. Sous-Prefect, they are appointees of the president to run his ministries that are not in the Constitution. You see that? So he appoints personal representatives Is there any place in the constitution where they say that he is authorized to appoint special representatives? Is there? So we have a situation here where the legitimate people have been put in place, but the illegitimate people
are ruling over them,
are doing everything to frustrate them. Now, when you look at the other day, we read the functions of Ministry of Health here, and look at the powers of the region concerning health. We said that it was the same thing. Ministry of Health, I mean, just look at their budget. How much do they have to make their services function? What does the region have to make that health service function? It is a mockery. These guys will go to nowhere. Let us take a simple example. Lakentini Hospital needs a scanner. Who, in your opinion, who will buy it? The regional president or the governor? Or the Minister of Health? No, let us look at that simple situation. Yes. Who will provide it? Minister of Health, governor, or regional president? How much money does regional president have? Good. Dialysis center in the General Hospital Douala has a problem. Like Bamenda own heart has a problem now. Bamenda. That man who was bragging that he can not take orders from your audit, ask him to repair the center.
Yes. No, the machines were sent. The machines were sent.
New ones.
Yes.
Sent by who?
By the minister.
By the minister.
Oh, by the minister. Thank you. Sent by the minister. So, Mr. Leo.
So when we have another breakage, I will remind him, Mr. President, the dialysis machine in Bamenda have a problem. Go and take charge.
So it is mission impossible. For things to work, you cannot have two captains on the same ship.
Impossible.
The legitimate people are the regional presidents. The illegitimate people are the governors. Let them go to hell if they are not happy. They are not legitimate. They are not in the constitution, and they cannot be seen to install people whose origin is from the constitution.
Okay. Hello, Leo and panelists. Why were the regional representatives installed by the governor or better state territorial administration ministry? Child's play. Let's keep making time on the same spot. Okay, Kume Esamba there writing from South Africa. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I love your program. The government should stop the flowing tap rather than try cleaning the water while the tap is still flowing. Thank you. This is Pa Nze writing from Kumba. Who are these people deceiving the population or themselves? For instance, J.J. Rawlings was to rest today in Ghana and the entire population wept for him as the father of democracy in Ghana. The question is, what will our people be remembered for? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Kum and crew. Regional councils are just new jobs that the government has created, and recruitment is done through elections. Ayong Thomas writing from Bamenda. Please check the spelling of appointment in the topic. Akem Honest is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Akem. Good evening, sir, and grace to you all for your immense contribution to development via enlightenment. My sincere condolences to the bereaved, and may God comfort the families of those who lost lives in the accident. I don't know that it means when scores of lives are lost and I hear pronouncements of free treatment for the wounded. I would have loved to hear stricter measures spelled out to curb future accidents. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I love the program. Mr. Elvis have said everything. The appointed leaders can never work like an elected leader. So, okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Ashu writing from Bamenda. Greetings to all in the studio. What pains me is that as a self-employed, after working so hard, pay electricity rentage, if you pay tax to the government instead of them to develop the country, they embezzle it, and we are here suffering and starving the same way our parents suffer from us. When will this country change? We are tired of all this. Mbuli writing from New Bell in Douala. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Does it mean that the government of this country have no ears, no eyes? Why is it they advise and taught every day and not at night, but they don't hear nor see? Good evening, Mr. Liu. Does it mean that the government of this country has no ears or eyes? Okay. Tebek in Ashu says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Happy with your panelist ideas, courage. Thank you too. Greetings, Mr. Liu and the members of the panel. It's a pity that Cameroon is seriously moving from bad to worse. The regional councillors and BIA's government have been programmed like computer applications. Okay. Glory is writing from Konsamba. Glory, I hope you're doing well in Konsamba. Now, who gives power? Is it the law or the population? And given the fact that, okay, you people say it's going to be practically impossible for these guys to work independently from the government, but can they not go beyond what is given them to tell the population, understand that there is need for these regional assemblies to be given, to be trusted?
Mr. Leo, the first issue here is who are those who are manning the regional councils? Do they have what it takes, morally upright, to do what we think they should do? That is the question. If you look at the situation whereby they are putting regional councils, and it is a CPDM family affair, with people always living from one position to come to another position, it tells you that these kind of people will only sit in the name of respecting the laws and be waiting for their monies to come, and they eat the money quietly. There is nothing they can do in terms of innovation. But if we're talking, because Mr. Leo, everything depends on the foundation. If you had a contested regional council election where the ground was made level and people went through the various stages with transparency, without manipulation, without central committee delegating and telling you who will be your regional council, who will be your regional council president and all the like, would have been talking what they are saying here and would have been making sense. But at a point in time whereby people know that godfathers have designed them to be here, central committee had told them that you will be this, and they have held meetings that say, see, as a one-party system, you will be president, this one will be vice, this one will be this one will be that. Those things were well structured and arranged even before the so-called sham elections that they were busy going in for the elections in the name of they are doing elections for executive officers of that bureau. We understand how those things transpire and how they happen. So what you are saying here is something that could transpire if we had people who came there under due qualification. Mm-hmm. People mandated by the population and by the voters. But now, since as it was a one-party issue, what do you expect? In the northwest and the southwest, it's a CPDM affair. The only situation differs a bit when you're going to the northern region, where UNDP comes in to grapple with some other areas. In the south, in the east, in the center, in the west, apart from the noon division there, the other area is a purely CPDM affair. So what do you expect? And those who work in the via of the CPDM know that they have to move in line with expectations of the party. And so they cannot, there's no way they can object to say that no, but we don't have enough powers. Can we not be giving more powers? You'll be talking as who? They'll simply ask you before you came into it, did you not read the laws? So you have to toe the laws. And the laws have been made in such a way that you have to work like robots. There is no way the regional councillors can be innovative because they have been made teleguided to work as robots with the laws in place. So if we dream one day to think that they can give us innovations out of the box, it will never happen. I speak with most of them. When you speak with some of them at the backyard, you see them regretting. You see them say, well, how I wish. How I wish. They are my friends. They know what I'm talking about. I will not call their names.
Okay. Your friends, we have just 5 more minutes to go. Two minutes for you both. Do people actually understand, know even what should be expected from these regional assemblies for the case of the Southwest, Northwest region and regional councils for other 8 regions?
You know, the funny thing is that a lot of people do not even know what is there. And most of those who are saying we should give them a chance have not even read the laws of decentralization. Mm-hmm. Neither have they even gone through the constitution to actually know what these bodies are supposed to be doing. And as a result of that, they work on in ignorance. So I think it was supposed to be the place of not just the civil society, as well, the government is supposed to take it as a responsibility to educate Cameroonians, like you are doing now, Mr. Kum, through this program, so that they can get to know exactly what is expected of the regional leadership. And it is from that basis that they will be able to hold the people accountable. Because as we are talking, the regional president and his entire council is accountable to the people of the Northwest, the Southwest, the Littoral, to the people. His accountability is not to the central government. Because the central government is a body that has been established also by the Constitution. And so in relation to my understanding, these people who have been appointed, I don't know if some of them even know the limit to which their powers end. So I will expect that most of them should be educated, as well as every other Cameroonian should be educated. I want to ask a lot of all Cameroonians to go back, take time, study your constitution, and then get to that decentralization law, study it, so that you know where the loopholes are found. And I believe also that even the regional leaders can take advantage of the loopholes that are found in the constitution, because I believe, if you can ask our legal mind here, in every law that is made, there is a loophole which can be taken advantage of. Is that true, Barrister? I'm certain. There is a loophole which you can pass through to, it's a blind hole. You can go through and take advantage and do things. So I think that they need to study those laws. So Mr. Levy asked me if Cameroonians do actually understand what is expected of the regional councillors. I'll tell you, most of them do not, because they don't have any understanding of it. They have not been taught.
But if they are not aware, can we also say that the Ministry of Decentralization did not do their job of educating Cameroonians, especially when you look at what people think about the role of the mayors? Do people really know what the role of a mayor is? Do they know what the role of a senator is? What the role of the MPs? Many persons think that MPs are there to bring development.
Mr. Leo, it is not the work of the government alone to educate the population.
Okay.
It is especially the work of political parties. That's the reason why each time I come here, I tell you, go to my party manifesto, you see that we have put this solution, we have proposed this type of solution to this type of problem. You see, when the council elections came up, and even the parliamentary elections, I remember on this very panel, I said that the people who were running don't even know the reason for which they are running. What are the duties of a parliamentarian? We just say they are lawmakers. Yes, you are lawmakers. So is that law like a plum? You just climb up the ground, go and pluck your own and come down? No. It should start from the grassroots.
Like the telephone
tax law. Like the telephone tax law. You see, it has to start from the grassroots. Contact your people, know their problems, carry these problems up to the house where laws are made, and defend their interests there. Then it does not end there. You, in Cameroon, we say the parliamentarian is a parliamentarian for the whole nation, which means you should be informed of what is happening, not only in your region, but in all the other regions. How many of our parliamentarians have ever dared to travel to other regions to see what is happening there? You see, no, it is a system that has to be overhauled completely. It has to be overhauled. The Minister of Decentralization has no interest to inform the population of what is happening, because if he does, many people will see that he himself is illegitimate. You, Minister of Decentralization, who is appointed by the President, you don't have anything to tell somebody whose office is clearly defined in the same constitution that provides, because this is something very dangerous. These people who have been elected have their roots from the constitution like the president. They are supposed to have power like the Nigerian governors.
Yes, that's the way.
That is it. But look at what these people have done to put in place a system that minimizes their power, just compromises everything, and will prevent them from working. Not only do you have the administrative setup, in our own area now you have the special public conciliator, who is added now to the other hurdles. He comes in to add himself to the other hurdles. How are they going to function? I say it's mission impossible. What are you asking of these people? All they have is their name. Money, no day. Power, no day. What do they have? Then you come and talk of special status. I had said that we should allow them to put it in place, so we can prove that it is an empty nonsense. If the thing is empty, there is nothing there.
Okay. Fortunately, we have to end at this juncture. For Elvis Tayong, we're glad you accepted our invitation to be part of this edition of Prime Hour.
Yes, thanks. It's my pleasure. And you see, we will not stop saying, we will not stop reminding the government to do her job. And so we will remind and remind. But I am telling Yaoundé, if this particular issue on this accident is not made clear and people made to pay for it, you will hear from us.
Okay.
Thank you very much. While we invite you to again in Gunokwe on Saturday, come there and see our cultural heritage. I know that you will come to Gunokwe and see what we'll be doing in terms of cultural display, library, fish pond, and everything. And so thousands of them will be going to Gunokwe Palace with my Royal Majesty Dr. Fumiki Waters. It's going to be a come and see. I'm inviting you, Mr. Liu, and the entire Media Prime.
We'll take care of my security now.
Your security is well taken care of.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Liu, and to the many Cameroonians out there who were listening to us. We believe that anytime we are given this opportunity, we do our best to make sure we pass the information that is needed, and we are certain that you got something. We pray that you keep on watching My Media Prime. Thank you.
Ben is writing from Limbe. To me, a lot of commissions have already been formed, but they all ended up in a mess. I am strongly behind the kangaroo man because the regime knows exactly what to do, but yet they keep beating around the bush. That's why I say we will keep on talking until our own. I don't know where you've been all this while, Mr. Leo, with such an interesting program. God bless you for this initiative. Ben writing from Limbe. Ben, I've always been there. Thank you for coming, Senior Barrister.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Leo. On behalf of Reform Party, I present my heartfelt condolence to all the bereaved families.
Okay. We also are informing our televiewers that tomorrow, in this in another edition of the program, Prime Hour, we are going to be looking at the situation of the sale of illicit fuel in our cities. It is alarming and very dangerous. So I don't know whether you are still going to be there, Senior Barrister, but we need to talk on this. And also we are going to be looking at the growing situation of teachers abusing female students. We are talking about sexually harassing many of these ladies. Tomorrow we are going to be discussing about this. Thank you for watching, all of you, and especially to those who worked so hard for this program to be produced. To you, Eli and Christian, and to you, Tabby, Tambe Brian. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.